Good morning, class. Today's lecture is on bioethics regulation in Singapore. First, we look at the biomedical science in Singapore. Why does the government focus on biomedical science? The reason is because Singapore is a well-developed country and all the other areas like electronic industry has been matured, banking industry has been matured, and biomedical science is a new area that's of economic growth to the country. And if you look back, Singapore's biomedical science initiative only started quite recently, about 5 to 10 years ago. Why biomedical science? There's a shift to knowledge and innovation-led economy, right? People are more intelligent, people are more live longer, and thus they need more medical support. And there is a competitive advantage for Singapore because it's a long-term commitment and not many countries are able to have this sort of infrastructure. There's a lot of opportunity in healthcare because people are getting older and people are getting richer. And of course in Singapore there is a very excellent healthcare system with good doctors, good nursing, and also a lot of foreign visitors coming to Singapore for medical treatment. So that's why a biomedical science area is a new growth for the country. If you look back in since the year 2000, there's a lot of progress has been made. For example, the government has set up statutory boards like A-STAR, EDB in biomedical science, and so on. And these are the ones who actually help spearhead the biomedical science in this country. There are also universities and healthcare institutions like NUS, Duke Medical School, that is also part of the biomedical science initiative. The Singapore vision is to be the biopolis of Asia. So that means that it is a biomedical science for this Asia region. And this includes a whole range of biomedical science services, right from basic and clinical research, that means in the laboratory, into product process development. So you develop new drugs, then you manufacture them. After that, it becomes a regional headquarters to distribute these drugs, and you actually integrate with the healthcare delivery system of the country. And if you review the biomedical science initiative since then, right, there is a critical mass of high quality research talent in Singapore or in the research institute. There's a strong pipeline of local talent in research training, and there is a growth in research and development labs that includes actually a lot of collaborations with a lot of multinational pharmaceutical companies and biotechnological firms. Right, and this will actually expand Singapore into one of the new economic growth in this area. If you look at the biomedical science cluster, it's actually divided into four big groups. There's a pharmaceutical, there's a healthcare services and delivery, there's a biotechnology and biologics, and of course there's a medical engineering and technology, which is what you will be working in the future as biomedical engineering student graduates. There are also drug discovery, bioimaging, biomarkers, and stem cell research, and all these are integrated into the development of the new biomedical sciences in Singapore. Of course, if you want to have this biomedical science initiative, you must have a committee to look at the ethical research. And there is this bioethics advisory committee that was set by the government that includes right on top the steering committee on life sciences, and they form the bioethics advisory committee. This committee will actually be in charge of looking about biomedical ethics issues involving research and involving manufacturing and other issues in the biomedical center. So this is actually the organization chart for this bioethics advisory committee in Singapore. And the bioethics advisory committees actually, the role is to examine legal, ethical, and social issues arising from research on human biology and behavior. It also recommends policy to the government on this ethical and legal issue and also social issue to make sure that people are protected in this sort of research, right? The committee will focus on three main areas: protection of the rights and welfare of individuals, public education and source of information on bioethical issues, and identify broad principles to govern the legal and ethical social implication of human biology research. Why is there a need for regulation in Singapore? Because there are more research activities in this biomedical area, and many of these researches are very new area and explore area, and we are not sure whether if this research can cause long-term problems to society. So that's why you need a proper regulation in that. And this regulation will act as a guideline for researcher to know which area that he should do and which area he should not do. The bioethics regulation is not meant to restrict research, but mainly to guide the researcher that what he could do. The regulation is ongoing, it's not fixed, because there are future changes, new changes that actually governance the amendment of this regulation, and it is the responsibility of everyone in this biomedical research area to be personally responsible to ensure that the research they done is actually ethically. Okay, before we end, we look at a discussion topic. You are tasked by the government to form a high-level bioethics regulation committee in Singapore. Describe what type of professional would you want to see represented in this committee. Thank you.